You all please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Adriano?
Here.
Mr. Logan?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here. Mr. Williams?
Here. Council, would you like?
Hereby given that there has been introduced before the town board of the town of
Rich, I'm
Patterson.
sorry, I'm not picking you up. Sorry about that. Not picking you up over the speaker system.
Check yours, Jamie.
Or lean in.
I got you now. Yeah, sorry.
Not a problem. Public notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, on November 14, 2018, an amendment to Patterson Town Code Chapter 150, Vehicles and Traffic, which amendment will revise Section 150-11 entitled Winter Parking, Obstructive Parking Prohibited, to restrict parking in certain areas along public and private streets, including within 30 feet of an intersection. Now, therefore, pursuant to Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law, the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, will hold a public hearing on the aforesaid amendment at the town offices, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on November 28, 2018, at 7:00 p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard. The Town Board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disability. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodation should contact the town clerk.
I would ask that anybody that has any questions on this amendment to Chapter 150, if you would approach the mic and give your name for the record, ask any questions or make any comments.
Crickets. Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next.
Please take notice that by resolution of the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, adopted at a meeting of said board on November 14, 2018, a public hearing will be held by the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, at Town Hall, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on November 28, 2018, at 7:00 p.m., or as soon thereafter as the matter can be heard, to consider the following contracts. Fire protection contract with Patterson Fire Department Number 1 for the calendar year 2019 in the amount of $849,468, and Patterson Fire Protection Contract with Putnam Lake Fire Department for the calendar year 2019 in the amount of $436,100, hereinafter collectively referred to as the Fire Protection Contracts. At said public hearing, all persons interested in the subject matter thereof shall have the opportunity to be heard. Copies of the aforesaid proposed fire protection contracts are on file with the town clerk. The town board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodations should contact the town clerk.
Again, I would ask that anybody who has any questions or any comments on the two fire department contracts, if you would approach the mic and give your name for the record.
I just have one comment. These are the same, basically, the numbers change with the budget, but
The only significant
Detail.
difference to the fire department contracts this year has to do with the Patterson Fire Department contract, in that it this year includes the department providing secondary call EMS services.
no longer a separate
It's
contract.
no longer a separate contract.
Okay.
Motion to close public hearings.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Someone like to audit the bills?
I will make a motion that the town board approve abstract number 21, dated November 1st, 2018, in the amount of 500 and... No, I just need my glasses. $502,699.92. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first item we have, based on the public hearing that we just wrapped up a moment ago, we have amendments to Chapter 150, which is winter parking, obstructive parking prohibited, the changes to the town code. I will make a motion or I'll introduce the resolution approving the amendments, which will be known as Local Law 6 of 2018. And without objection, ask that it be entered into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Second item is, from time to time, we have, many people probably realize we have old paper roads in this town. We have many in Putnam Lake. We have some that are in various areas around Patterson. We had a request from a member of the public to consider formally abandoning one such road, and this is Chestnut Way off of Route 164.
Yes.
And the town, of course, has to get approval, not only a town board, but also of the highway superintendent in order to do so. And Russ, I'm assuming you're not looking to maintain an unnecessary or even build out a road that doesn't exist at this point in time? Okay, so I will make a motion that the town board,
No, we're not making a motion.
what, we have to do a public hearing on it?
Nope. We
Okay.
need to file paperwork first. We need to
Well,
direct the
let's
town
make a
attorney.
motion to direct the town attorney.
There you go.
Okay, to file paperwork to effectuate the closure, the abandonment of Chestnut Way. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jamie, do you have any idea when you might be able to get that done?
Yes, I can get that to you shortly, next week.
Okay.
By next week.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Just an announcement for that at the end of the night.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, first item on my agenda is the MS4 midterm report. So the town of Patterson is obligated to have a stormwater plan for dealing with the pollutant of concern identified by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, which is phosphorus. We need to do annual reporting, but we also need to provide the DEC and file with the DEC a midterm report, which is due December 1st. I have provided the town board with this midterm report. I'm looking for any comments or questions on it. If not, I'd like to make a motion that the town board authorize the filing of the midterm, 2018 midterm MS4 report with the DEC.
So moved. Second, rather.
All-
How's that?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the second item on my agenda is the continuing work we're doing on trying to move to LED lights. At this point, I have provided the board with the original memo from NYSEG laying out the two options that we have for Schedule A and Schedule B for changing the lights out. I've also completed a comprehensive review and identified the location of all the streetlights. The board has a spreadsheet containing all the streetlights in the town. We've located all of them. We've located a few that were not shown on NYSEG's list, as well as several that were on NYSEG's list that we've been unable to locate. I've contacted NYSEG with that list. They are going to try to locate them and give me addresses. The ones we were not able to locate are shown with, there's a couple of columns on this spreadsheet, so everybody has kind of an understanding about what we're talking about. With NYSEG's LED lumen choice, their recommendation, and then a second column, which is my recommendation to the town board, how we would change the lights out. If there's a 0, it's indicating that the light was not found.
And what's the gray shaded area?
The gray shaded actually in my spreadsheet is going to show up either as purple or blue. The blue are the ones with the 0s. They are the ones that I was unable to locate. And if there is a number that should be a purple, that is a light that I located that was not on NYSEG's list, but it is existing out there in the field. It was a somewhat challenging chore because the only thing NYSEG could give me were pole numbers, and most of the poles in the town don't have numbers, so.
Beautiful.
All right, so what I'm asking from the board is to review this list, take a look at it. I will tell you that there are some lights in here that I'm going to come back to the board and recommend we eliminate. There's only 4 or 5 of them because they just seem unnecessary. But also, I've given you what NYSEG is recommending we replace a particular light with, and then I'm also giving you what my recommendation is we replace it with. What I did is, again, going through this list, I spent some time looking at the lights and the locations, whether they're located at an intersection, whether they're part of a series of lights, like the lights coming down Route 311, and made some modifications. And in doing so, I actually came up with overall less lumens that we would be putting out in the field, which is again an additional cost savings to the town as far as providing street lighting, and provide some consistency. Case in point, I mean, I did this for Fairfield, Lakeshore, Haviland, but just pointing out Route 311. You come down Route 311 and the road is lined with lights through most of the hamlet, and they're all 70 watt lights. But every so often, I think the library is one and has a 150 watt light, or down in front of West Street, where we have 2 architectural lights plus a Cobra head. The Cobra head is 250 watts. So I'm looking at, yeah, it's not consistent. So I'm recommending that we put some consistency into this overall, especially, identifying residential versus commercial areas. So I'm going to put this back on the agenda for the next meeting for further discussion. If you take a look at my recommendations, location of the light, if there's any lights you think should be taken off or modified, please get back to me and let me know. Sure. And then we can hopefully finalize this. Now, saying all this, NYSEG has given us 2 options to go with. We can either take their recommendations for how the streetlights are going to be replaced out, which basically is just all the 50 watt lights will be replaced with 200 lumen LED Cobra heads, or we can go with B, where they've given us a list of our Cobra head lights in categories, and we can select what LED fixture we want to see that replaced with. I've asked them to consider option C, where we go light by light.
Well, especially since you mentioned there are some inconsistencies
Yeah.
with the lights that exist, so a simple swap out wouldn't make any sense.
Wouldn't make any sense at all. They initially have agreed to do that. I'm not so sure they understood what they were agreeing to.
Okay, get it in writing.
But that's where we are.
Great.
So if you could just go through this, review this, we'll bring it up next meeting. And
The information also worth looking at that you provided the board last meeting was what the light related to in terms of its use. It's the cool white light versus the yellowing and the blue, so that's worth looking at as well, I think, for the board. Helps understand better than just looking at lumens.
okay.
And what is this bottom line number here? This is
Those are the 2 totals of total lumens between going with NYSEG's recommendation and going with ours. Now, one last note on this. Recently, Watchtower changed all their lights out to LED lights. I provided you the information on what the lights look like, so if you so choose, you can swing by Watchtower to take a look at what the different lights may look like.
Thank you.
Fair enough?
Great.
All right, Mary, you're up.
Okay, the first item on my agenda is a recreation request from Mr. Matt Chavarro. He'd like to promote Jason Van Shafton from junior staff to senior staff. Jason will be responsible for handling the QuickBooks duties that a former employee was responsible for. His rate of pay will be $12 per hour for the remainder of 2018, and then adjusted to the new higher rate for senior staff members for 2019. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Jason Von Shafton to senior staff member for the Town of Patterson Recreation Center. So moved.
second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The second item is the Veterans Park caretaker agreement. We are once again engaging in a caretaker to provide the caretaker services at the Patterson Veterans Memorial Park. It would be Tyler Whitcomb. I'd like to enter this resolution to renew the service contract for the caretaker services using Tyler Whitcomb to provide the caretaker services for the Veterans Memorial Park, and enter this into the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just want to add that Tyler's doing a phenomenal job. Home
Yeah,
run.
absolutely phenomenal
We are
job.
blessed with Tyler.
That's it.
While we're at it, you know, kudos to our sanitation workers. Tyler is also one of our sanitation workers who this past Friday picked up what normally is picked up by 2 trucks with a single truck, because we've got issues with one of the trucks that's not running. And they did everything they were supposed to do with 1 truck in the allotted time. It's a phenomenal job. Yeah. Peter?
All right, first item I have is a letter from the Meadowbrook Farms Homeowner Association. Actually, it's from their attorneys, Stenger, Roberts, Davis, and Diamond. And it looks like the letter says they want to meet with their supervisor, Williams, to address some issues with the possibly taking over portions of the road that was originally proposed to be dedicated to the town, and some other issues with Phase 2 and so on. Did you want to elaborate a little more on that?
So Meadowbrook Farms is a very old subdivision that was done back in the late 80s, extended into the early 90s. It was done in 2 phases. Phase 1 was built out. And at that point, the project sponsor turned the improvements, including the septic system, the community water system, the open space lots, and maintenance of the road over to the HOA, and then refused to contribute to maintaining them. Meadowbrook Farms took the developer JZG Resources to court and got a judgment against him. He is still fighting that judgment, but essentially they at this point have acquired the rights to the 2nd phase of the subdivision. Unfortunately, as time has gone on, the road has deteriorated in condition and requires some extensive improvements, in addition to all the improvements that need to be constructed to build out Phase 2. And what they essentially are asking the town is to waive the town. The road was supposed to be accepted by dedication to the town, and the town would then maintain it. And they're looking for the town to waive that right so that they can continue to maintain it in its current condition without actually completing the improvements. While I think we're all going to be in agreement that if the HOA wants to keep the road, they can do that, they are still probably, for safety's sake, going to be obligated to, complete the road.
Absolutely.
So, in that vein, I just wanted to get, the opinion of the board, what they wanted to do, and then meet with them and see what we can work out as far as getting the road complete. We might be able to help them out with some financing. We might be able to reduce some of the standards, see what we can resolve on this issue. But I wanted to, we got the letter, town board got the letter, so we need to discuss it.
How would we help them though? I mean,
Well, similar to something we did with Quail Ridge, that was a subdivision that they have roads that needed some additional work. And they were slated to be private roads. The town actually financed the improvements. We, secured a bond on their behalf, created an improvement district, finished up the improvements, and taken over those roads. We did the same thing with a road off of South Quaker Hill Road, Quaker Manor Lane. We could talk about doing the same thing. We could also, again, look at, right now the engineer has estimated that all the curbing needs to be replaced. Well, does it all need to be replaced? Where there may be some wiggle room as far as them not having to do all the improvements that are identified by the town engineer as needing replacement.
Charlie and I had mentioned this earlier. We both were on the site walk for that Phase 2.
We both.
We were both, and that seems like it had to be 10 years ago on the planning board. And I remember there even being problems with the drainage from that road
Well, that's
with the
what-
wetlands and the impacts out there. So there's a lot going on out there that needs to be addressed.
Sure.
So clearly, public safety is still going to be paramount.
And that's years ago.
Yeah.
You're saying that much
been
has
tied
been
up.
done. I mean, now I
Yeah.
can only imagine what.
What's the advantage of them taking over the road? Why wouldn't they want to want us to,
They-
dedicate it to us?
Until they fully completed the improvements,
Can't.
the town won't accept the
Yeah.
road, because then we become liable for completing those improvements. So they would have to complete the improvements. The advantage to them, by holding ownership, is not to have to complete the improvements, but those improvements are necessary for public
Right.
safety.
Yeah.
So,
So if we tell them they still need to do their improvements, why wouldn't they want to, then at that point, if they have to make the improvements, why don't they just say, okay, well, dedicate it to the town, let them maintain it at that point?
Big cost.
big cost.
That's it.
Big
Just comes
cost.
down to dollars and cents.
They were also looking to downsize the subdivision, and I'm not sure why they're doing that, because there's a value in the additional houses that would help offset the cost,
Right.
so.
Bottom line, at the end of the day, that HOA pays for all the improvements, and no matter what kind of help we give them along the way, or, I mean,
Yes, it's gonna be the obligation of the HOA.
yeah. Be interesting to hear what their lawyer has to say here.
I do have a call into the lawyer, he has not gotten back to me.
Who is it?
Ken Stanger?
If we can get a copy too of the letter, we'll try to reach out also.
Oh,
They said they
don't have to.
were
I think we're good.
requesting to meet before December 1st. Was that
I'm not sure what that date signified. Again, I put in a call, he's yet to get back to me, so. All right, so the sense I get from the board is they still would like to see the improvements to the road being done.
Just have to figure out a way to get it done.
Okay.
This is the current subdivision plus what would be the
Plus
new.
phase two.
Correct.
Phase two.
Yeah,
It's gonna be interesting,
yeah.
because that's the one that comes out on 311, right?
Yes, no, it comes out on 292. There was supposed to be a connection between this subdivision and Sonnet Lane, which
Right.
comes out on 311.
Right.
That is still going to be somewhat of a contentious discussion,
Right.
because it's supposed to be a connected road, a through road. And of course, neither subdivision, now that have been there for many years, wants to see their cul-de-sac eliminated.
Right.
So,
Also, going back to the original review that we did on planning board, I remember there being a discussion about the roads. If they were just finished off in their present state, they wouldn't be great for snow plowing. You remember that coming up, where they were talking about there was a cul-de-sac issue and some issues with road width that, at the time, I think our review was that they needed to do significant improvements to allow, if the town was gonna accept dedication, to allow Russ's guys to do their job in there.
well, the issue is, right now, both roads just basically dead end. There's no cul-de-sac. And then on the Meadowbrook Farm side, there are two circular roads which provide
Right.
access to the homes,
Right.
which are not slated for dedication.
Okay.
If
Oh,
they,
right, I remember
if they wanna,
A long time.
yes, if they want to keep Meadowbrook Farms as a private road, they would need to install a cul-de-sac, so
Right.
the trucks could turn,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
So
Long
now
time
the
ago.
new plan is to come out onto 292?
They do come out on 292.
Right.
No, that's the
But when they
existing.
finish phase two, that roadway, are they gonna come out onto 292 also?
They would come out onto Meadowbrook Farm Lanes, which comes out onto 292.
Right, so it's the same
Yeah.
curb cut on 292, it's just
Yeah.
extending the usage.
Leaving Sonnet alone.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep. Okay.
All right, next I have budget transfers. There's a budget transfer request number 40, which is the general fund celebration contractual. So we have $1,200 from parks contractual to $1,200 to celebrations contractual. And we have budget request number 41. This is the general fund EMS building contractual. We have $4,000 from ambulance charges to EMS building contractual for $3,150, and EMS building contractual light and power for $850. I'd like to approve those two requests, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
They went that way.
That is all I have.
Okay, next we have a memo from Russ Goff, Sanitation Administrator, relative to rate increases for permits.
Okay, so you missed the last meeting. We actually approved that. When we approved that, what we didn't do is we didn't set when it becomes effective and when we're gonna start taking the increased fees. So the town clerk has requested that we put that in the minutes of the town board meeting, that the rate increase is for the 2019 permits.
Okay? So,
I'll second that. Right, Charlie?
yeah,
Sorry.
all right. So we're going with Russ's recommendation? Is that what you did?
We did.
We did last
We did
meeting,
approve
yeah.
it.
Okay.
But there's a second part to that.
Yep.
Okay. Which,
Adding to the special bulk drop-off and pickup is addition of rugs, 9 by 12 or portion thereof, meaning any carpet area 9 by 12 or larger. Someone's removing a rug from a room that is 20 by 20, even if they cut it in small pieces, it's still chargeable. So,
So it looks like.
what is she asking to?
It's $10 on the fee
10?
schedule.
I'll make a motion that the town board approve adding rugs to the special bulk drop-off pickup form, and at a rate of $10 per pickup. So,
I would be better.
Second?
Discussion. Sean's just made a recommendation. I have a problem with 9 by 12.
Let's just say 100 square foot, per 100 square foot or portion thereof. 9 by 12 is an
Well-
arbitrary, I mean, it's,
I would go a little bit smaller, and I would take out the or portion thereof, because if you bring in a portion, a 1 by 1 square,
yeah, that's stupid.
yeah,
Yeah, that's not the intent,
That's
obviously.
not the
but-
intent.
So, just say, yeah. Maybe just change it to
pick a number,
per
boys.
100 square feet, and somebody brings in, I mean,
well, if you want to go 9 by 100, that's, 900 square feet.
what? No, I just
I
say
mean,
in
not-
portions of,
yeah,
no,
900 square
just do
feet,
10,
no.
just do per 100 square foot.
Yeah, by 100 square feet.
So if somebody, so the question is, because of the way this reads, if somebody brings in 150 square foot, are they gonna be charged $15, $10,
I have
or
big
20?
rugs, so,
Are they gonna charge accordingly and just say $10 per 100? Russ? I mean, it's simple, but it's not a big deal, but to make sure people don't say, well, I brought in 120 square foot, I don't want you charging me $20, I want you to charge me $12.
why don't we just do it
We
by,
actually got that 9 by 12 off of Nello
Mhm.
when they take rugs, and I think they get twice as much as us, but that's what the formula that they had used.
Yeah. But you do a better job than Nello, so don't worry about it.
Billy does.
Yeah, Billy does. All right.
just do it per rug, minimum rug size, 100 square feet.
Okay, fine.
So moved.
Cool.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Great.
All right, next we have resolutions as they apply to the fire department's agreements that we spoke about earlier. So I will introduce the following resolution for renewal of agreement with the Patterson Fire Department. Without objection, entering it into the record as read. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is for the Putnam Lake Fire Department, so I'll introduce the following resolution for renewal of agreement with the Putnam Lake Fire Department. Without objection, entering it into the record as read. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And executive session will leave until after other business and public recognition.
Very good. Other business? Well, unfortunately, I've got two pieces of other business for you. One of them just came up today. About a month ago, we had authorized Peak Power, who we're under contract with to maintain our generators, to make some repairs to the Patterson Village generator, including replacement of a radiator and the coolants and the belts. We approved an amount not to exceed roughly $1,950. Well, they got back to me today because they were going through, we did authorize the repair to go forward, and they realized that they had made a typo in the estimate.
It was too good to be true.
It was too good to be true. That they had shown it was going to take 2 man-hours to replace the radiator. They left off the 1. It's actually going to take 12 man-hours. So they revised their estimate and sent it down to me today to increase it from $2,000 to $3,400. Needless to say, I was less than excited about the change. And so there was some back and forth today, and I did get them down to doing the work hopefully for under $3,000. But they insist that we acknowledge that it is an estimate. So, and we do need to get the repairs made.
We don't have an option.
We don't have an option, and we've looked at other people doing the repairs, and it's not any better.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a motion to amend approval for Peak Power to effectuate repairs at the Patterson Village generator with the replacement of the radiator and associated parts for an amount not to exceed $3,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The second thing is I just want to update the board on an ongoing issue. Last year, we installed a new carp gate over the winter because weather was not cooperative. We had some ice damage to the carp gate. The leaves this year accumulating on the edge kind of did a little bit more damage. We did authorize a contractor to go in and repair the carp gate, but to do that, we need to get the lake down. So we started drawing the lake down. And as we were drawing the lake down, I noticed some areas that left me concerned with how the water was being drawn down in 2 ways. So everybody is clear. We've got an outlet into the lake, comes into the sluice gate. We open the sluice gate, it runs through a pipe and goes to an outlet down near Fairfield Drive. Because we have carp in the lake, we have to have a carp grate on the end of that outlet pipe. Well, you've got a lot of pressure pushing water down through that pipe coming in from Putnam Lake. Just the mere weight of the water. And when you then put the carp grate on the end of the pipe, that actually holds the pressure back and exerts that pressure on the pipe. And I could see the amount of pressure, and I never opened it up all the way, but I could see the amount of pressure because that carp grate that was lagged to 2 big rocks out there, the bolts actually snapped and the carp gate started to pull out. That's way too much pressure for that pipe to handle. There were other indicators where ground was starting to get a little saturated, indicated that the pressure in those pipes were forcing seepage. So at some point, we're going to have to make some corrections in that area. None of this occurred last year when there was no grate on the carp gate. The second issue had to do with, it appears that the carp, as well as many other fish, like to hang out in the pipe whether the water's flowing or not, and can't make it past the grate. And so I cleaned it twice, and the grate still plugged up full of fish. So I met with Russ Goff out there, who was phenomenal as always about, proposing solutions. We worked through a few of the issues that we had out there. We had Jimmy Gagliardo out there as well, along with Ron Gaynor, a town engineer, and as well as Dave Keith from the highway. Can't forget him, because he was more than gracious to allow us. We're going to put a temporary grate on the county highway side, right on Fairfield, and get rid of the grate on the pipe. We're going to do it for hopefully very little money. Jimmy is going to loan us a concrete block to secure everything, which he'll then take back, so there's no cost that way. And highway is going to prepare the grate. And we're going to put that in tomorrow and then open the pipe back up and hope everything is functioning well. So just want to update everybody on what's going on the continuing saga.
Clearly, you're having too much fun.
Almost makes Patterson Village look good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there was one last point. Now we're going to have a pool out there in which the fish coming down through the pipe are going to hang out, and we're going to have to go out there and capture the fish and move them back to the lake. So,
Boy Scouts.
would you volunteer? What?
Boy Scouts?
Boy Scouts?
Boy Scouts?
That's
Yeah.
great.
I've actually got a very long pole sticking out of the back of my truck for you, Mike. Okay, public recognition. Does any member of the public wish to come up and be recognized? Just give your name, Mrs. Sullivan, for the record.
Yeah, my name is Lauren Sullivan, and I'm, well, I won't give you my address, but I just want to thank Russ and his crew for coming out the other day and regrading the side of Quincy. And unfortunately, my drain keeps getting clogged, and I just didn't know why it kept getting clogged up. But they told me that there's a 12-inch pipe that is going into a 9-inch pipe. And so I guess this kind of could be constantly happening when we have, heavy rain. And I just want to thank you for you guys doing a good job, and also across the street on 24 Livonia. It was water, it's still water, unfortunately. I don't think that'll ever, be rectified. But it was a sheet of ice, and another neighbor had called, and they came out and they, did their best. So I just want to thank you and this crew. Okay.
Thank you.
So I just want to also mention that Russ has been out there doing a phenomenal job. We had the 7th rainiest November ever, on top of 2 prior months that had, considerable rainfall. The groundwater table has not been this high in a very long time, and as a result, we are seeing water flowing out onto the road and seeps and wet basements where we've never seen them before. There are chronic icing problems throughout the town that Russ has been dealing with. Farmer Place, Kenwood Road, Old Route 22, and he's been doing the best that he possibly can. And I think he's been doing a great job trying to get the ice and trying to fix the drainage. But this is going to be ongoing for a little bit of time due to the high groundwater table. So,
It was either a wet summer and fall.
yeah, and a very dry spring.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Mike Garicole, Putnam Lake Fire Department. This Saturday at 7 o'clock, the Putnam Lake Fire Department is having their annual tree lighting and parade. We expect about 20 floats this year, and Santa in the rear on the boat, of course. And there'll be hot chocolate from the ladies and some celebration. We have a DJ and stuff like that. That starts at 7. And then on the 9th, we're going to do a breakfast with Santa. That's going to start at 9 a.m. And on the 16th, we're going to be doing our candy cane run. So we'll drive around with the trucks and hand out candy canes to the kids. So just be aware if we're going out on the 16th and you hear some sirens, it's because we're doing a candy cane run. That's it.
Nice.
Thank you, Michael.
Very nice.
Anyone else? Going once?
One public announcement.
Go for it.
Okay. I think this will air Monday night, so there's still a chance when this airs for not only the people in the room, but for those at home, that Tuesday, December 4th, so next Tuesday, The health department's holding its last chance flu clinic. So if you have not gotten your flu shot, you can come between 2 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. to the health department. It's for anyone who lives or works in New York State. There is a fee of $25 unless you have Medicare, then it's covered under that. So last chance flu clinic, if you haven't gotten it yet, please consider, go to the health department. But I also saw many of the grocery stores they have signs up. I think Acme says free flu shots. You can go in just about any time. So no excuse to not get your flu shot. That's it.
Do they give any other pertussis?
They're doing
Pertussis is,
HIV, AIDS testing, and also, because I think Monday is World AIDS Day, and they're also doing Hep C testing. So they do that for free on
Pertussis.
Monday. I think you can schedule that.
Oh, you can?
Call them, yeah. Thank you.
Gonna be a new baby.
Yeah,
Have
right.
pertussis.
Oh, yeah, you have to get all those shots.
I see you looking funny at me, like, no, I'm not carrying that. It hurts.
I just wasn't
Okay.
All right, can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.